Welcome to Turning Hard Times to Good Times. I'm your host, Jay Taylor, and I'm talking to you today from San Francisco, California, on this, the 19th day of October 2021. We do always like to thank you all for listening to the show, and also encourage you to send along any comments you might have to questions4taylor@gmail.com, questions the number 4taylor@gmail.com. We also want to thank our sponsors for making this show possible. Today's sponsors: Novo Resources, El Oro Resources, Hannon Metals, Labrador Gold Corp, Lion One Metals, SK Mining Corp, and Firefox Gold. Before we get started with today's show, I want to pass along a comment from Michael Oliver on gold that he provided to his paid subscribers this past weekend. Michael noted once again that he would not want to be short. He would not want to be a gold bear because the shorts are really just spinning their wheels, making no money at all. Meantime, gold is continuing to mark time by building a base before it starts its next major move. Michael said that the key long-term structure MSA is most focused on traces back much further, and it's evident on gold quarterly momentum charts that he provides to his subscribers. Its key breakout level is a weekly close this quarter at $18.25. It's about $55 higher than the $17.70 price that it was trading just before the show began a few minutes ago. I would like to encourage you to consider subscribing to Michael's letter to keep up with the constant information that he provides. You can go to olivermsa.com, olivermsa.com, to keep up with Michael's work. In response to a listener named Art, I would also like to briefly comment on Novo Resources, which has had a declining share price over the last several weeks and a disappointing gold production report for the third quarter ending September 30th. Novo produced 18,144 ounces of gold in Q3, but production during the months of August and September fell considerably shy of the 8,589 ounces of gold produced in July. Dr. Henning is scheduled to come on this show to talk about Novo. That's on Tuesday, November 23rd. Lower levels of production was blamed on, in the press release from the company, was blamed on lower head grades going to the mill. That was due to mining dilution. The company plans to rectify that problem by closer spaced drilling, pre-production drilling. Given the nuggety nature of gold mineralization in the company's Beaton's Creek project, this problem is not terribly surprising, nor is the market's response to the disappointing production numbers. I think the market will need to see improvement in the current quarter to restore confidence. Some very positive reports on mechanical sorting and more high-grade assays from the Toggle project, where the company's recently reported an intercept of 25.5 grams of gold over 3.5 meters, might help bolster the stock in the short term. But until those kinds of positive events occur, I don't see any reason for upside share price optimism immediately, unless, of course, the price of gold breaks out in a major way to the upside. I've titled today's show, How America's Emerging Revolution is Similar to Cuba's. Dr. Roger Moss will be with me in the second segment. But Richard Mayberry is my main guest. He'll be with me in the second half of today's show. When President Eisenhower was leaving the White House, he warned Americans of the emerging military-industrial complex that he feared would destroy our democratic form of government. Sadly, it seems President Eisenhower was right, as a massive bureaucracy now makes rules that have nothing to do with the will of the people. A move away from power by the people to power of the government over the electorate to dictate every area of our life has now provoked growing anger among conservatives. Conservatives crave retention of the Constitution that guaranteed the rights of Americans to be free of government tyranny. Much of the current lack of agreement is related to social issues, with economic issues sometimes taking a back seat, or seemingly to do so. But increasingly, as the Federal Reserve's counterfeiting actions result in hyperinflation, and Americans realize this money printing scam is the reason for their poverty and the massive wealth of the top 1%, Richard believes a setting very similar to Cuba in 1958 may leave power in America up for grabs by a number of interests. Richard will explain what to watch for to determine who will gain power and what investments you should own in preparation for a hyperinflationary event. Richard will be with me in the second half of today's show, as I noted, and Dr. Roger Moss of Labrador Gold Corp will join me right after our first commercial break, which we are about to take now, just a second or two. But I should say that if you are interested in a gold share investment story that has a chance to mirror the emerging multi-million ounce high-grade gold discovery of Newfound Gold, located in the same belt of rocks as Labrador's project, you won't want to miss what Roger has to say right after we return from our first commercial break.